Right, so I've got a problem with this car. We've got a huge water leak coming in on the passenger side footwell, or on the left-hand side footwell, and basically the thing started to stink like mould. Now, there's a few reasons why you don't want that. This is an electronically fuel-injected car with airbags and all this sort of stuff, so we don't want moisture inside the car. And as well as that, you've also got the problem of heavy condensation, which cuts your visibility when the sun comes out and the car's wet inside. And of course mould starts growing on seatbelt webbing and all these sorts of things. We really do need to eradicate this. So we'll have a quick look and see what we can find. Right, so there's a few things I'm not happy about. We did 6 months ago, we did this car up, sort of did the interior up, got it nice and clean, the steering wheel's all knackered and that sort of thing, so I've got a replacement for that. We've also got a seatbelt warning light. There are two in this car. There's one on the dash for the driver, which we've got to find out why that's still flashing. We've got this little one here, which works quite well. But the problem we've got first and foremost is this leak. Now, I've just thrown some newspaper down just to mop it up. It's dry now. I've had some beautiful, oh, look at that spring weather. So this has had a chance to dry now. This is where we're getting the problem. It's coming in up here somewhere, and it's coming down onto the carpet and into the underlay. So we need to figure out why. So I think I'm just going to pop the glove box off first and see if we can see anything a bit better. So it's important not to try and reinvent the wheel here. This is a simple car, but there are complexities with it. So we don't want to just blindly pull everything apart. This is a very easy part to get off. So really just for the purpose of illustration. Now, the first thing, we just want to keep it simple as we said, but the first thing I want to do is say that I do not think the problem with this is to do with the windscreen. A lot of the older cars have a heated wire type sealer that's put in. The screen sort of, it's rolled out around the screen lip, the screen's plopped into place, and then of course they apply voltage to the wires, which heats up the sealer and bonds the screen. And these cars are put in with urethane. Those earlier types do promote a lot of rust in those earlier cars, but this is a reasonably modern one, even though it's 20 years old. I'm going to say in the last 20 years in this country, car bodies have been galvanised, so you don't get the issues that you did with some of those earlier ones. What have I forgotten? Have I forgotten anything? No, I haven't. Come on, little bloke, come out. Oh, goodness. Right, let's just get rid of that. Right, what can we see here? Nothing, except a whole lot of electronic stuff. Toyota are good. This thing over here is the car's computer. It's the fuel injection. It controls the fuel injection, all this sort of stuff here. It's good that it's put there because any screen leaks and so forth won't hit it, even if you do get them. In the earlier days, they used to stick them in here. And I know from Fords and the XFs and stuff like that we used to work on, screen leaks would, of course, affect the running of the vehicle because you get all your moisture and everything around the pins, the ECU pins in there. Okay, so I got all the, that's your central locking stuff, and what have we got? The heater fan. There, we've got the heater box. Normally when you get water leaks, it could be one of three things. It could be the heater matrix or the heater core, which is up in there somewhere. That will give a coolant type smell, particularly when you turn the fan on, you'll smell it. And I know in this car we're not getting that, and also the engine coolet's at a good level. That hasn't come down. Come with the air conditioning drain, which is a little pipe, sits under here. I'll give you a better look at that. The air conditioning drain is that guy there. They are known to block, and of course then you'll get you know, a lot of water and that sort of thing in your car. But that way, I know this is leaking from up here somewhere. And I know that because I've seen the water leak coming down. So what we'll do is we're going to flood it. We're going to flood the outside to find out where it's coming in. Now I know it's coming from above here, so flooding underneath isn't going to do anything. So I think we'll take the scuttle off and the windscreen wipers and see if that divulges anything else. Now I love Japanese stuff. This has got a sort of a less of an opportunity for leaves and that sort of thing to come in. Quite often you'll find leaves and so forth will sit in this plenum chamber and can cause rust and all sorts of issues. But these things, as we said before, are galvanised, so I'm not expecting anything like that to be the problem. But I think what we'll do is we'll take these off, take the scuttle off, and have a look in here. Right, so that's as much as I want to take off for diagnosis. Right, so first thing I want to do is flood it from the lowest point. So obviously we can't do under the car, as I said before, because it's coming from higher up. The last point I'm thinking of is the plenum chamber. That's where the air conditioning and heating gets its ventilation from, and where all your wiper blades and your wiper linkages and everything operate. It's in this area here. If that's leaking, that's a big problem. It's fixable, but it involves pulling the dash out, pulling the engine out, unzipping all the welds and all this sort of stuff, and we just don't want to get into that. This is basically a pizza delivery car. It's used for the work run and just to toddle around the shops and that sort of stuff. So it's not worth doing that sort of repair to this car, but I do want to find out what it is because I'm curious. So what we'll do is we'll set the camera up in the car and we'll wait for a water leak. I'm going to flood this plenum chamber first and see where it gets us. Let's have a look down here. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. I can't see though, but no, we're good. Nothing coming down there. Right, okay, well that's a relief. Now, we've gone in here, we've flooded all that, there's nothing there. So, I mean, at the ultimate, we can get a water leak by just hosing the top of the car down, but we're not going to be able to isolate it, so we need to go next step up. Now, if we look down here, right, there's a little ledge there. I wonder if that might be it. Let's get a small water bottle and see if we can put some fluid in there as well. I've got this little thinners bottle, which has water in it, and I am going to, can we see this little thing here? I'm going to pop a bit of water in there. Now it's sitting there, and it's not doing anything. Is it? Oh, it just disappeared. Oh, maybe that's it. So we'll keep going with this for a while. Let's see what happens. And we're still dry. Okay. Right, so I'm not going to flood the windscreen yet. I'm just going to throw a whole lot of water down here, in this area here, and see what happens there. There's a little hole next to the bonnet hinge. I don't even know if you can see that with my crappy camera, but we'll try that. Oh, down in here. I'm not onto the windscreen yet. Let's see where that gets us. Oh, we have water. Yep. Alright, so it's coming from up here somewhere. I'm not taking any of this off, I don't want to. But, pardon me, that is where it's coming from. Don't know if that's good or bad. But it's coming in down through that hole, which is a drain hole. It's supposed to be there, but there's something amiss behind it, so I need to figure out what that is. Didn't think it was a windscreen. Now, when we've finished and rectified the issue, we will do a full water test on it around the screen and everything, just to make sure. But I'm tipping the windscreen's fine. As we said before, they're urethaned in, and these bodies are galvanised, so rust isn't an issue with them. We hope, depending if it's lived near the sea for too long. But we need to get that wheel off, take the liner off from in the wheel arch, and have a look in there. Right, so I've shifted the car, I've got the handbrake on, got the wheel chocked around the other side. I've just jacked one side up and put a stand there. So it should be a bit safer to deal with this. Opportunity to check brakes and this sort of thing. I know this is all going to be alright. We've had new drive shafts, new everything stuck in this car. So don't have to worry about that. But tyre wear's a little bit uneven, but now this guard is delaminated. A lot of metallic paints do delaminate from this era. It's a good opportunity to change the guard, but I'm not going to. I just want to find out what this water leak is. That's the most important thing. Right, let's take a look. Got to get this inner guard off. There's a couple of weird clips. This has got a bolt in it here, but on the other side I think they're disposable, in that you take them off and you put new ones on. Now that should drop down like that. So when you're bad, but look up here. I think we just got out of this light. You never get news like this, but this is a Toyota, which is the reason it's good news. That is a grommet for all the windscreen washer plumbing and some of the engine wiring, and that's out of its little receptacle. What I don't understand is why, because nobody would have pulled on that. And now this car didn't leak When I pulled the old carburetor about 6 months ago, there was no evidence of water ingress, but now there is. I don't know how that happened. I'm trying to reach around the camera. That's a double lip thing. That goes straight into the inside of the car. Can you see that? Oh, hang on. I did pull the thing on. Hang on, let me just get that in. Bloody hell. I'm just going to have a look inside and see if I can see anything more obvious why that's popped out. Just a moment. In the best I can. It does feel a bit out on the other side. I'm going to flood it and see what happens, eh? Let's go. Hopefully it doesn't get away from the camera. Like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's exactly where it was going. Give it a bit more and we'll go and have a look, hey? Yeah, success. I'll tell you what, guys, we got out of that really, really light. The older cars, as we said, the bodies weren't galvanised. Turn that off. And normally things like that denote that there's a stack of rust somewhere, but we got out of that super duper light. So that looks like a win. Right, so we're going to move the car forward and I'm going to give it a really, really good water test all over the place on the screen and all. Now, one thing that does bother me about this car, if I start him up, you can see down there we've got the handbrake and the airbag, and there's this little flashing thing there, and that's a seatbelt warning. Now, what this car has, if I pull the seatbelt, that should extinguish. Now, the passenger side has one over here, and if I put weight on the seat, that illuminates. Now, that goes out the moment you pull the seatbelt. As you see, I've got the seatbelt pulled out, sorry, and I'm still putting weight there, and that one's gone out. Of course, we put weight back on, it goes on again. So there's a separate circuit. There's a switch inside the passenger seat, and there's also one inside the seat buckle. Now this one here isn't working and it's annoying me when I'm driving, so I'm just going to move the car forward, and I want to get rid of this steering wheel. You can see the steering wheel's knackered. I don't like it at all. I'm going to set it up straight, so I'm going to take that off, but I'm also going to have a look at that seatbelt warning as well. So we'll have a look at that now. Close this for a few minutes. I'll turn this off for a sec. And let us take a look inside, see if we've got any more water leaks. Let's have a look, eh? Dry as a bone. We're done, we're sorted. Excellent. Very, very happy with that. Okay, so this can all go back together now. Also not a bad idea just to change out your underlay. Once it's got damp, it's probably going to stink, but I think this one's alright. Hopefully. I haven't got anything to replace it with anyway. I've got these little things that hold it in. Followed by this little piece. Covers up all the gubbins and crap. Sits on a thread. That will just sit down in there. Done. And being the paranoid person I am, I'm still going to check it every now and then. But, oh, there we go. Much better. Right, let's have a look at the steering wheel. Right, so that's the end of the water leak drama. If you want to see more on this with the steering wheel and the seatbelt warning, stick around because I'm going to do it now. So here's a replacement belt for an EP91. There are two plugs on it. That's the seatbelt pretension. It's got a piston in there which fires back and yanks you back against the seat. Or pulls the other way, I should say. There are two connectors. One's the SRS wiring here, which is held in with that little stainless clip. And I've got this little switch here, and that is the spool switch. That's actually a little loose. Ew, maybe this one's damaged as well, I don't know. But when we pull that, it should trip. And so I can get a multimeter and I can check the continuity there, and I think I might do that now. Top of the dustbin, and I'm going to go for continuity. And the other thing I'm going to warn you about is that I am making this up as I go along, so if I'm wrong, you're going to know about it. The other thing is, we don't want to stick a multimeter on those, but I am interested in these things here. Okay, we've got continuity. If I pull this out, say there. Let's have another look. I'm just going to put my finger there to stop it going back in. Nothing. Let the belt go back in. And we're on. So we know that switch works. What we don't know is if the one in the car's any good, or in fact if that's unplugged. If it is, that's my fault because I put the interior back together. Although I don't think I've changed the belts, I can't remember. I've just taken off the windlays. I'm trying to unhook it. I don't want to take the seat out if I can avoid it, but I might have to. Oh, here we go. We're good. We are good. Right, let's have a look. I'll pop the back seat out. I think we're going to have to take this thing off here. So we'll pop that off. And you might wonder, why would you bother with this old car? Well, it's pretty good fun really. Most of the rest of the stuff I do is tens of thousands of dollars. And this little beater was virtually free. So if you do want a cheap car for work and take away food run, get a Toyota like this. This car was $300. 90s cars are very cheap, but some of them, even though Hyundai and Kia, if you listen to that Cadogan Muppet, he reckons they're the best things around, but in the 90s they weren't. They were a real lottery, so you're much better with a Toyota like this one. Have I forgotten anything? That thing has come up. Right, let's have a look. So there's the two wiring looms. There's this one here, which is the safety, which is the seatbelt warning, and we've got our little SRS one there. So I think what we'll do is we'll pop the buckle out. More friggin' bolts. There's some down here. We're going to take the whole thing off, and we'll check it outside the way we do the other one. So I'll take this out now. Two seaty belts, and if you watched any of the Starlet stuff when I did it in May or April, March, I can't remember when I did it, most of the parts were taken out of a car that was written off. So basically, I'm going to make sure it's not frayed. The old roadworthy way is to run a cigarette lighter across there. Any fraying is instantly unroadworthy, so we need to watch out for that. Right, again, we don't touch this stuff, we're going for this. So let's see if we get any joy. This one here has continuity. If I pull this belt buckle out, if I put the belt out I should say, I'm going to pull it right out. We should not have continuity, and if we have, we know it's knackered. So let's go again. Yep, it's fine, it's had it. So I was going to say something else then, wasn't I? We'll just double check with this one. You're probably getting bored watching me do this crap. No, right, that'll do it. That will fix it. Right, so let us put this little bloke in. There's a matter of reverse of removal procedure, I guess. We'll put that in there. It hangs there with a little bolt. It's got some locating tabs and all that sort of business. Just get all that wiring out of the way. And that one. And that should just, there's some tongues there. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and do all this. And there's the little one. Little 6mm goes in the top just to locate it. I'm going to go ahead and do all this. We'll tighten this up. And we'll plug these in. These ones and this one. Must have to get both plugs. Chances are that's disassemblable and repairable. I'm sure it is, but I haven't got time today. I'm too busy with other stuff, and I've got to go out tonight. And last busy. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a list back together, and I'll turn the camera back on then. Try and work out how this airbag comes off. I thought it's Phillips, but I think it's got something else in it. Hang on. The ignition's off, so I'm just going to Torx bits. It's got Torx bits. Hang on, I'll just go and get some of those. Yeah, tight little mothers. Trouble getting these out. I think the fasteners are sitting on the inside of the hole. I'm just going to put that under there and pull it back. Yep, that's it. And there is our little plug. Right, there's our airbag. Nasty bit of kit. Don't do what they do on YouTube and explode one of these or detonate one of these things sitting on a tyre or anything like that, because it's an explosive with a detonator in the centre. Very, very dangerous kit. Another thing, if you've got a car made after 2001, make sure it's not a Takata. Those things are terrible. And even the Takata recall is the ones they were recalling or replacing with weren't very good either. So the steering wheel. Those little bolts, retainers. We need to keep those. I'll take those out. And there's another one kicking around here somewhere. Where did I drop it? It's down there. So we've got those two, they hold the airbag in. And that's a clock spring, or the spiral cable behind there. I've just got to undo this earth here. And then we can just undo this nut. We just make sure the steering wheel's dead center when we take the wheel off. Gonna grab brake bar, give it a yank, and I'm just gonna undo the nut sort of there, and give it a wiggle. You don't want to, there we go. You don't want to not have that nut on when you do that, because if it comes back all of a sudden, which it will, you're going to have a steering wheel in your teeth. So that's level. Pop that off. Here's the spiral cable. Keep it where it is. If it turns out that it's been turned, you don't know. It says on here maximum 5 turns. Find one side, don't force it when it just stops, go around the other way. To verify the number, then go halfway in between and put it on. Here's a new wheel. Very, very good. It's got evidence of a cover being on it, which is why all the original grain's still there. So that's a champion wheel, that one. Very happy with these. So it's just a matter of tightening this up, not forgetting to stick our little earth on. Stick it there now. And of course we plug the airbag on and then reconnect the battery. Well, I don't think we're going to be doing this. Look at this. Look how bent it is. Bugger it, we can't use that. That's no good. It's a bummer, because that's such a nice wheel. But it's really, really bent. I've got this one here. There's another one. Nowhere near as nice. But a lot better than that. So I think we'll just stick this on. See how we go. That's alright. Oh, we're just going around the block anyway. So it's a bit of a pity that the other steering wheel's so stuffed. I can't use it. It's in such better condition than what this one is, but this is an improvement on what we had before. Here we go. Oh, I've got it nice and straight. That's the main purpose of a road test after you've done a steering wheel.